Hey everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Gladius Part 1. This is LP Showboat 0099. Today we'll be starting off our campaign as Valens, but first I would like to mention a couple things that I noticed from doing the intro video. And that was, as much as I've been staring at this game through the entirety of that intro, I didn't even notice that the top and the bottom of the screen have these big black bars on them. Now, I've looked at other parts of the game. I have a save game from an Ursula campaign that I looked at, and as it turns out, the black bars at the top and bottom of the screen are there at almost all times. They're there in every menu, every cutscene, including the intro cutscene that you saw in the intro video, and in all menus. So it's all menus and all cutscenes where it's like this. It goes into full screen when you're on your world map, and I'm assuming when you're in your battles too, but it would actually get rid of those black bars on the top and bottom, but there are still really tiny lines. Yeah, that screwed me up for that video, for that intro video, because, see, it records as 720 by 480, which puts a couple black bars on the left and right, inherently, and when I rendered it as 1280 by 720, which stretched it, and it had these black bars on the sides and on the top, and when I uploaded it to YouTube, it was like the game was surrounded by this big black box around it. I was like, no. So what I ended up doing was I cropped it to 640 by 480, which is what it really is displaying as, and stretched it into 1280 by 720. But you still have the black bars on the top and bottom. I figured those are part of the game itself and not part of just the recording setup. So I'm not going to touch the top and bottom black bars when they are present. So if you see them, note that they are actually part of the game and not me just failing at the editing of this. And I want to have them there because they are part of the game. So let us start Let's Play Gladius as Valens. The advanced difficulty.
It was an evening like many others as Imperia's greatest gladiator walked home with his son after another victorious day at the games. But the cycle of evil would begin anew this night. Not even the affinity gods could have saved Imperia's chosen hero, Munio, from his fate that evening. Whether it was fate or the divine will of the affinity gods, Valens, the favored son of Imperia, was spared that tragic night.
Okay, so we had almost died. There we
Are
are.
you sure you want to go through this with me?
You must be joking, Valens. How long have we fought side by side?
For as long as I can remember. Hey, wait up!
It's been 11 years, ever since my father died in the games. Munio took me in and treated me as a son. And you've always treated me like a brother.
My father was only repaying a valiant hero, the cornerstone of his school.
I'm sure he would have done the same for anyone who fought for him. My father wasn't anything special.
Don't say that.
It's the truth. Nobody dies in the games anymore. So there it is. It's time to begin.
Yes. This school is my father's greatest legacy. We must carry it on in his name.
If this school is going to be successful, it needs a strong warrior to guide it. Show me how much you want to be the leader.
You can't be serious.
I'll fight by your side to the very end, Valens, but you must prove yourself worthy of such devotion.
Always a flair for the dramatic, Ludo. Well, I see there's no dissuading you. For the glory of the gods!
For the glory of Imperia!
Oh, you will hear from the glory of Imperia so much in this game. Oh, get used to that. You'll hear it a lot. And for Nordog, you'll hear that a lot too.
Now remember,
so our
we're
first
just
battle.
sparring.
Don't worry, I won't hurt you too badly.
And we get hit right off the bat. Alright, so attacking, yada yada yada. Yeah, you move your cursor over. In fact, I have to sort of get used to this. Again, you strike, and then you have an attack meter. So here's the really, like, skill-based portion of this game. As strategic as it may be, being essentially turn-based combat, you have to do your attacks, and most of the attacks have this attack meter, and there's different types of meters depending on the different attacks. It can be really difficult at times, especially since there's so many different types of attack meter. This is the most basic type of attack meter, where it's just swing and then try to push A in the red for a critical hit. If you push it in the blue, you'll do a weaker attack
Son of the
by
greatest
overshooting.
gladiator in the land, and this is all you got?
I will not be drawn in by your taunts, Ludo. It is the weapon of a weak warrior.
Man, I'm surprised you never used them yourself.
Okay. Alright, so this is automatic, using Empower Self. Alright, and then the other...
Seems your father taught you a few tricks he never shared with me.
Be aware of your connection to the gods, he used to say. It was his gift to me.
Impressive. But you will need more than that to best me.
And we took no damage from that. Alright, so... what was I saying? Oh yeah, the meters. Oh, if you get it beyond that big line,
Not win.
you just miss. Like at the end, there's that big line. In the middle of the blue, there's that line.
Have you had
go
enough?
To the right,
For certain.
you miss.
If you continue to fight like that, our school should do well in the games.
Thank you, Ludo. But remember, it's a team sport. I couldn't do it without you.
Loading. So much loading. Continuing on. Now that we've done that, there's going to be some more talking, a potential tutorial that I'm
I
going to
see
skip.
you've reacquainted yourselves with the sword.
It is a great honor to fight for you, Master Eustace.
No, you fight for yourselves here. It appears that we are further along than I thought. Munio has taught you both very well.
Thank you. That means a great deal to me.
But we still have much training to do if we're going to get this school back in the high tournaments.
Ah, before I forget,
What is this?
a memento of your father's. I was waiting for an appropriate time to give it to you. Wear it with pride, son.
It was a symbol of Munio's dedication to the sport. He felt the games were an outlet for mankind's violence and rage, which kept them from waging war. Carry on that tradition.
But it's broken. What happened?
I'm afraid it was damaged during the attack that took his life.
He would be proud to see you wearing it, Valens.
Enough of the past. Let's look to our future. We have much to do.
We can now begin your instruction. Yeah, I already know what I'm doing. Although I'm a little rusty, I'm sure
Well,
I
that
will
is enough
get
of the
it back.
basics. It is time to test your mettle.
I can't wait.
That was just like movement, attacks, swing meters, and so on and so forth. And not much else, especially when I know what's coming up is a series of training battles in particular that will show off each of the unique aspects that you will see in the actual tournament fights. Why must we go to Pyrgos, Master Lucis? Pyrgos is a very reputable beginning league. Besides, I'd like to begin your training a little further away from the center of Imperia. Yes, better to build our skills before entering the major games. Also happens to be the closest
Ludo, wait,
to your
I think
school.
this is it. Yes, I am sure of it.
What are you talking about? The stump? The road?
No. We used to sit on this hill and watch the warriors train below. Remember? We practiced along with them.
Yes, with sticks and rocks.
It was not about the weapons. It was about hero worship.
Back then, we never thought we'd have the chance to run our own school.
And now here we are. It does seem daunting now. We barely have enough equipment to compete.
Every Imperial champion has to start somewhere, Valens. I believe that we are destined for greatness.
Ludo, be serious. We haven't even won a battle yet. Let's just concentrate on making it to the next town alive.
Yeah, so Valens start off.
Here is the place where you will
cheesy.
register for league battles. Each location that hosts official battles has a league officer.
Yes, it does.
Her
Useless.
job is to manage the interactions between schools and leagues. Herato?
Welcome, Valens and Ludo. I'll walk you through the registration process now.
This office is the hub for all competition in Pyrgos. Your goal is to win our town's tournament. If you are successful, your school will be given an official certificate of completion. Why do we need a certificate? Because, Valens, to be a champion school, you must show you have mastered tournaments from many locations. The certificates are needed before you may enter the high tournaments in Kalva. Great, then let's enter the Pyrgos tournament. Not just yet, little warrior. Though your father's name carries with it a history of champions, we have never seen you fight in the games. All schools must prove they are competent before we allow them in our local tournament. The crowds pay good money to view these battles. It would be bad for business if we put on a poor show. Okay, then what must we do before we can enter? Shouldn't we be fighting by now? Soon enough, Ludo. Each office rents out its arena to a number of leagues. These leagues host battles to entertain the crowds. Leagues are constantly looking for schools to fight in the battles they put on. These leagues make money by entertaining the crowds and collecting a fee. I'm sure you are anxious to begin. Let's get your school a talisman so you can start entering leagues. Excellent. Exactly why we are here, Arado. We need a talisman for Imperia who proves we have undergone the basic trials for this land, and are worthy of fighting before paying crowds. That is correct, Eustace. Take your young warriors through the certification battles, and then we will talk more of tournaments. Basic training? Fine, come on, Valens, let's get this over with. To the games! Yes, to the games. Ah, the excitement of youth. Haha. You will find that this game has a lot of humor behind it for being a battling sort of game. Lots of humor, and the story gets really dark as we go on. But, oh geez, there's quite a bit of humor and wit to it. So, Pyrgos training! Here we are. Yeah, you need 6 battle points to beat this league. Each battle is worth between 1 and 6. Total points needed for a particular league can be found to the right. In general, more points mean stuff for battles, but you don't have to complete every battle in the league. You'll find your popularity won't rise very quickly if you skip too many. Basically, do everything at all times. If you can do it, do it. If you can't, get to it later. But anyway, you get these little tick marks to the right of each of the training battles. That's how many points you have, and in the top right there, underneath that little lock, is 0 of 6 and then 6 tick marks. Pretty much every single league will have this. But as you can see in this training one, there are 5 training battles, each worth 1, and then the training exam worth 6. So if you want, you could skip to the very end. The problem is, skipping these will give you less money. As you can see, each one gives you between 1 and 300 of the money in this game. And even the training exam. So it will behoove you to do all of the training battles, skipping the tutorials at the beginning and just going and killing them. And you also get experience from it in the end as well. So there is no real reason to skip these, even though they do give you that option. So I'm going to go through all 5 of these with you today. This is the formation screen. Here you will choose warrior from your school's roster, which meet the current battle's requirements. Many battles have strict requirements. If you have no choice, a warrior may be placed in the staging area for you. For example, this training battle requires that both of you participate. After you have earned your Talisman, we will discuss the finer points of unit selection. Please select Done and press A. Yada yada yada. Here we go. So, as you see, these are our characters, Valens and Ludo. Valens has a lot of HP. Valens is very defensive, and you know what? I need to give him a shield eventually, and him. These guys need shields. They are medium types, but we will get into that later. This is the placement screen. Here's where you decide where your warriors will stand in the beginning of the coming battle. Some battles have carefully planned starting locations, like this training battle. For now, simply press A to select warrior, and then press A to place it, yada yada yada. Each warrior is placed, press down. If you're not ready, press B to cancel. So, as you can see, we have set locations for each of these guys. You can also, using the left and right triggers, change which direction they're facing. Facing direction does matter in this game, because if you get hit from the back or from the side, you take more damage, so you have to be really tactical. So yes, this game is inherently just a tactics game. Like if you've played any other game with like the name Tactics, like Tactics Ogre or Final Fantasy Tactics or any of those, it's relatively the same concept as that, except in these battles, your guys will never truly die. There isn't a permadeath in these, but there is permadeath out in the field, like the world map. If you get into a random encounter in the world map, there is permadeath, and some story element fights are permadeath as well, but we just have to go through this. Let's just fight. Defeat the Legionnaires! Okay. So, since Valens is very defensive, I'm going to put him here, in between them, and hopefully they'll attack Valens. Now, the reason I've chosen this guy is because Ludo is closer to this guy, even though Ludo can't really move all that far in his turn. The idea being that I will be able to flank this guy here. Yeah, Valens taking some damage, but it's not going to matter so much once I start getting side attacks with Ludo. Since I can do a lot more crits. See, look at that. He does a lot of damage. So this Ludo's very slow, but also hits very hard in the process. So he's more heavy than he is medium. And yeah, I just evaded that attack. Wonderful. That's another stat that you can increase in this game, is evasion. Wonderful. I should have actually moved Valens, but it looks like I do have enough movement to attack this guy. And I missed. Dang. I'm going to miss a lot having to commentate that. Ooh, that's interesting. So he turned, and now Valens can get his shot at a side attack. There are certain types of character classes that will do more damage with side attacks and back attacks, especially. Things like light classes like bandits and such will have that. You can also see that Valens actually attacks a lot more often as well. He's very quick in his attacks, he moves further, and generally all around is one of your best characters because of this. And he's your main character. He should be like that. Alright, so got 106. I think it's just random between 100 and 300. I'm not particularly certain. And we got experience. Huzzah, huzzah, we got experience. Next training battle. So that was just the basics, essentially. Movement and positioning, essentially. If you push X, you can look at your opponents, and this is quite useful when doing certain battles, because your opponents can change depending on the match. So here we go. Loading. I'll do one more of the training battles in this episode, and then we will end things off for next time, folks. Righty then. 2D crowds cheering for us. Let's just fight, please. I think this is just more like basics sort of stuff. So off we go this way. We'll fight one-on-one this time around. I'm pretty sure we'll just win. Flat out. Dang it! I hate missing. You can turn off the meters, however, that is not suggested, because then the computer just calculates crits for you, and you will always be able to get the crits more often than the computer will give you crits. Oh, look at that. Yes, the computer is actually semi-smart in this game. Semi-smart. But now this guy's just sandwiched himself in, and now Valens will be able to pretty much, I hope, finish him off with this back attack. One hit point. The best part about facing is that if you turn to do a back attack on someone, as long as they aren't facing you, you will turn to face anyone who tries to attack you from the side or the back while you are back or side attacking someone else. But if you're fighting head-on with someone, then you won't be able to turn because you're too focused on the guy that's in front of you.
The battle comes to a close.
Yeah, half health, so what? Side attack this guy, please. As soon as we can get more initiative on these guys, I will be very happy. Or get better attacks on these guys. That would be wonderful. Like, there's running attacks where you can actually move and attack your full movement range and attack that same turn. It is great to have. Victory! See how quick these matches
Feel the
end
rush
to
of the
go?
crowd's approval.
It's fantastic. I wish they were always like this.
It depends on how well we battle and what arena we're in. Crowds across the lands cheer for many different things.
Yeah, the crowd also has very minimal effects on you. Although, really, as long as you are doing sort of well, it will always be in your favor. But if you're taking a lot of damage and like losing, then that just gives the enemy a bigger advantage with the crowd meters. So, alright, who are we facing? 2 more Legionnaires. Please be about height advantage this one, because I want to show off height advantages. But it doesn't. We may have height advantages in this one. Hopefully, we'll be able to actually move. Yada. Yes! About height advantage. Alright. Yes, I really just want to fight. Okay. So this one is teaching you about how terrain height works. So, as long as you're higher than your enemy, they will do less damage to you, and you will do more damage to them. Easy enough, right? And the bigger the height difference, the more damage reduction and increase in damage will be done. There's going to be fights that are based off of this use of height, including many types of King of the Hill matches, which are very interesting, especially when you get a really big heavy just sitting right on top of the dang thing and being really hard to kill for multiple turns. It can be a hassle. So at this beginning stage, it's just slug away until they die. You have no chance of dying. Is his name really Ambrosius? A lot of these names I won't be able to actually pronounce. Oh god. This should be done pretty quickly. There we go. One down. And this guy is going down. Goodbye. Later in the game, it becomes very imperative that you get your criticals off consistently. It can mean the difference between life and death. I mean, seriously, it will mean the difference between life and death. Alright, more experience. Yay. Alright, so with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. It's been LP Showboat Susan99, and I will see you all next time on Let's Play Gladius, when we will finish off our 4th, 5th training battles and do the training exam. I will see you all then.